Not long after the receding glaciers sculpted the landscape of present-day southern Wisconsin, the indigenous inhabitants of the Four Lakes region were farming, hunting, and fishing the land and waterways they would call home for thousands of years to come. The ancestral homeland of today's Ho-Chunk Nation includes the natural, cultural, and historical wonder on the banks of Lake Monona that we know today as San Damiano. Those early residents lived in encampments and villages similar to these, some of them on the eastern shore of what was then named Third Lake. In the early 1800s, the U.S. government ordered the removal of indigenous residents from the area. But despite decades of attempted ethnic cleansing, the Ho-Chunk continued to gather in what they have always regarded as sacred ground and, very likely, a burial site for their forebears. The property was acquired in the 1850s by Edward P. Allis, founder of Milwaukee's Allis-Chalmers Manufacturing Company. In 1893, his son, Frank Allis, built a home there. With 6 fireplaces and a ballroom, it was the first permanent year-round residence on Lake Monona outside the city of Madison, and the manor house for a 600-acre farm. Frank and his wife Lillian became prominent members of Madison society, rubbing shoulders with a who's who of local luminaries. After Frank died and Lillian moved into town, 2 acres on Buckeye Road were set aside for what Lillian stipulated be known in perpetuity as Frank Allis School. The house's next owner was Adolph Kaiser, a former mayor of Madison, whose son founded the Kaiser Auto Dealership and added to the family home, what else? An attached garage. Next came Dr. Herman Gilbert, a prominent radiologist at St. Mary's Hospital and Morningside Sanitarium. Gilbert is believed to have added the overhanging second-floor sleeping porch to provide fresh air after his days spent around X-rays and tuberculosis patients. But he became seriously ill, and the stately estate again went up for sale. A realtor advertised the property's views of wooded shores and distant city across the lake, and back porches where poor tired old dad can take his ease with the water lapping at his feet. But a tired old dad didn't buy the house. The Mahoney sisters did. The owners of a rooming house for college students at the edge of the UW campus offered the property that they acquired from Dr. Gilbert for $35,000 to St. Norbert Abbey of De Pere, Wisconsin for the price of $1, provided that it be forever maintained as a place of peace and serenity. The Norbertine Novitiate was a place of worship, study, recreation, and reflection for novices in the Catholic priesthood. The house's porch was replaced by a stone entryway to seclude them from visitors during their year cloistered on the grounds. Later, the novitiate became a house of prayer for priests who were attending classes at the UW. Then in 1975, the Norbertines moved into a new facility and leased their Monona building and grounds to the Capuchin religious order, which operated it as a friary, retreat, and residence for retired priests. They named it San Damiano, after a spiritually and historically significant religious site in Italy. During this time, San Damiano also housed the non-secular Center for Life and Loss Integration, which provided grief counseling in a natural setting that promoted emotional healing. In 2015, the Capuchins relocated, and the Norbertines, facing high costs to maintain a building they no longer needed, took steps toward demolishing it. The community recognized the rare opportunity this presented, and rather than watch the property be sold for private development, the city of Monona purchased San Damiano for public use. The people's land over so many millennia would return to the people. Monona is now developing a master plan for the 10-acre site to ensure opportunities for people of all ages and abilities, and respecting the site's historical, cultural, environmental, and recreational attributes. The options include multi-use trails, water access, educational stations, a year-round multi-purpose space, and other amenities and improvements, while retaining the natural biodiversity of an arboretum-like ecosystem in the midst of a busy urban neighborhood. San Damiano has been and continues to be history in the making, intertwined with the lives of indigenous settlers, business and civic leaders, religious figures, and now you. Where do you see yourself at San Damiano? Watching a stunning sunset in a moment of solitude? Experiencing nature among the flora and fauna? Whatever it is that draws you to this unique destination, we hope you'll join us in making it a special place for generations to come. Now that San Damiano belongs to the people again, its future belongs to us.